all come across books in our lives that could be romantic, scientific, comedic, or even sad. But have you ever seen a book that just reading it could bring death along with it for its reader, or take away sleep from them for the rest of their life? Welcome to another episode of Unsolved Clue. In this segment, we're going to talk about some mysterious and bizarre books that are considered to be devilish. According to some, these books might even be written by the devil himself. These are books that could provide you with information that might drive you crazy. Number 1. The Necronomicon. It's one of those really strange and bizarre books that supposedly contains information on how to resurrect the dead. The name of the book itself is Weird Face of the Dead. One of the weirdest things that catches people's attention is the material used for the cover of the first edition of this book. It was supposedly made from human skin. In the early days, folks thought this book was purely fictional. They even printed and circulated several editions of it. But after they found out about the real nature of the book, its distribution was halted, and they even gathered up the complete copies. However, the original version of this book is still around, and rumor has it that it's in the private collection of the Miskatonic University Library in Massachusetts. Number 2. The Orphan. Between the year 1608 and 1615, a fallen priest named Martin de Leon Cardenas, who had broken his sacred oath, wrote this book. The really interesting thing about this book is that it has never reached the publication stage up until now. The reason for that is quite eerie. Whenever someone intends to widely publish and distribute this book, they die in a weird way. For instance, in 1965, Belinda Palacios found a piece of the original manuscript hidden in archives of a Spanish-language society in America. But after a short while, she realized that the people who were studying and examining this book were mysteriously dying one by one. That's when she understood the curse of this book. Even now, 400 years after its writing, nobody dares to print it. Number 3. Unlimited Grimoires. In 2013, a book titled Unlimited Grimoires was sold at an auction for $13,865. At the time of the sale, the seller warned the buyer that dealing with these books could strike fear into people, as anyone who isn't a believer and deals with these books would be cursed with death. According to what's been said and heard, grimoires are supposed to be burned after the death of the sorcerer who wrote them. But this grimoire, authored by a priest named Persephone Adrastia Irene in the early 1960s, is a recreated version of her mother's grimoires. It contains a vast collection of spells, curses, charms, and even ways to communicate with demons, summon spirits, perform exorcisms, and interact with supernatural beings. The book clearly warns the reader on its first pages with the following statement: "To those not of the craft, the reading of this book is forbidden. Proceed no further, or justice will exact a swift and terrible retribution, and you will surely suffer at the hand of the craft." Number 4. The Lesser Key of Solomon. This book is a cursed grimoire of demonology, and the author's identity remains unknown to this day. It's said that the book was compiled in the 17th century. The book contains sections on how to summon spirits, the dead, and demons, as well as methods to control these entities to carry out the reader's commands. It also covers other bizarre topics like how to become invisible, locate lost or stolen items, or create love potions and persuasive alcoholic concoctions. However, getting your hands on this book isn't as simple as that. According to those who possess any version of this book, there's a curse associated with it that brings about numerous problems for the owner. These problems include constantly hearing the voices of spirits and demons, the book spontaneously flying around, and its pages turning inexplicably. It's said that the only way to break this curse is to burn the book and bury its ashes. Number 5. The Codex Gigas, or the Devil's Bible. This book dates back to the 12th century and weighs nearly 165 pounds. It's said to have been written by a monk who broke his spiritual vows and turned away from God, leading to his condemnation to death. However, the night before his execution, he decides to write down all the knowledge he possesses about humanity in a book. Realizing he doesn't have enough time to complete it, he summons Lucifer and asks for his help in exchange for his soul. Apparently, the book is then completed with the help of Lucifer himself. It's filled with information and intensely eerie images, featuring unsettling depictions, portraits of Lucifer himself, and other demonic entities. Number 6. The Book of Soiga. This is a book about demonology dating back to the 16th century. The intriguing thing about this book is that only 2 copies of it exist. One of these copies belongs to John Dee, who dedicated his life to deciphering the book's secrets. He concluded that the book is filled with dark mysteries, occult practices, and demonic spells. However, despite all his efforts, he couldn't crack the final 36 pages of the book. It's said that out of frustration, John Dee summoned the angel Uriel for assistance. But Uriel explained to him that the book was created after Adam's expulsion from Eden, and only the archangel Michael has the power to decode it. And if you're curious to try your hand at unlocking this book's secrets, I must inform you that according to legends, anyone who successfully deciphers the final 36 pages of the book will die within the span of 2.5 years. Number 7. The Grand Grimoire is said to be one of the creepiest and scariest forbidden books out there. It's rumored that the author of this book was possessed by a devil back in the 16th century, which is why it's often referred to as the Devil's Bible. This book is filled with dark secrets, like spells that could teach the reader how to summon a demon or even bring a dead person back to life. Of course, using these powers comes at a big cost. Anyone who reads this grimoire supposedly offers their own soul to the devil. That's why the original copy of this book is kept in the Vatican's archive of forbidden books. Number 8. Magic of Abramelin the Mage is a 3-part book about spiritual matters written in the 15th century. It was supposedly written by Abraham for his son Lamech. The book was translated into English in 1900 and quickly gained a reputation as a cursed book. Abraham believed that each person has their own personal and unique demon, and by reading this book, one could find ways to control their personal demon. It provides instructions on using symbols and magical words to perform supernatural actions. However, the biggest issue with this book is that even having a copy of it could potentially lead to harassment by spirits and demons. Here was the end of this episode. I would be really happy if you liked the video, left a comment, and shared your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Doing so helps us make better quality and more interesting videos for our audience.